I still got a lot of years to play. And so I think the biggest thing is to join a room that on tape you watch them, you know they play with their hair on fire, and they got the juice, they got the energy. And, you know, at the end of the day, as a D lineman, to join a room like that's a no-brainer. You know, especially someone that's, you know, trying to prove himself in the league. And you fight for respect every day in the NFL, you know. So the biggest thing as a defensive lineman for me is fighting for respect. I believe in that. And so, you know, show up every day. You earn it. You earn your rep through your reps, you know. So, and to elaborate on that, you earn your reputation on your reps, you know. So that was told to me my rookie year. I never left my mind.
So there it is. And the first thing out of his mouth, you thought you'd never, if you told a Lions fan this 4 years ago, they would have called you a lunatic. Free agents coming to Detroit because of the culture that is established.
Yeah.
That is something you would have wished to hear about the Lions 4 years ago. And now because of Dan Campbell, because of Brad Holmes, because of Sheila Ford-Hamp, they have that established culture in this locker room that players want to be a part of. They have that established culture in Detroit that makes free agents say, like he just said, like Roy Lopez just said, watching this team, watching that unit on film and being like, fuck, I want to be a part of that. I want to go play there. I want to learn under Dan Campbell. I want to set myself up to have the most success not only in my playing career, but beyond. And learning under a guy like Dan Campbell, being in a room like the Detroit Lions have, and being in this organization at the point it's at now is the best situation for me to go into. That is something so refreshing for Detroit Lions fans to hear. Like I said, if you heard that 4 years ago from a free agent, you would have said, oh, he's just saying that to say that. The Lions don't have a culture set. But now it actually means something. Now it actually makes sense that players want to come here and play in Detroit under Dan Campbell for this Lions team. It's just so refreshing to hear.
That was something that Stewart said as well when he spoke of us being like a contender. And it's like, it was just so wild to hear. Because like he's like, if you're looking at a league objectively, like without any type of bias, there's like 3 to 4 teams at a time that are actual contenders. And Detroit Lions remain in that conversation. I think it's also good to hear that we remain in that conversation despite certain changes or more improvements some people wanted that just never ended up happening. But shout out to Detroit DT, you know, or Torta, whatever he's going to end up being nicknamed here in Detroit. He looks like an absolute dog. He also spoke about just his play style, where he got it from. And every time I scout Smitty, I speak of this particular thing. Do you play that one I sent you, Chris?
At the end of the day, we started wrestling when I was 2-3 years old. And from that moment forward, everybody believed in me. So.
What was your best wrestling maneuver back in the day, and how much does that maybe help you today on the football field?
Right, a lot of people say when they watch my tape, it looks like wrestling, right? And so in high school, I was a 2-time state champion, finished with a 113-3 record. My favorite move was a snap down, right? So, and then you watch my film, and my favorite move is a bull shuck, right? Like, it's the same movement as wrestling, you know, so it's kind of full circle. I laugh at it. I think it's funny. My pad level is just purely off of leverage and inside hands, just like wrestling, man. So it's I owe a lot of credit to it. I didn't enjoy it all the time, cutting weight, running, eating ice chips, you know, spitting all day. Like, I didn't enjoy it, man. So since I was a young kid, I was cutting weight, trying to make weight, and traveling the world, traveling the country. And it's come full circle, though. I always said I wasn't going to make my son wrestle, but now it's like I owe everything to the sport of wrestling. So wrestling changed my life.
Every time I scout anybody within the front seven, I try to find like the high school background. Because if they wrestled, I feel like it is always going to go your favor in terms of shedding blockers on defense, the leverage, the moves. It's all part of the same thing. In a way, you guys kind of are wrestling when you're tied up along with a blocker, and I think that background helps. Beyond that, just the mentality. You heard him about just cutting weight his whole life, eating ice chips because you can't really eat and you're trying to cut that weight. It's just like the mental preparation to become better, just grind you down, like to find out who you are at the pit of your soul. Like, I think wrestling brings that out of people, and a lot of people that I know that are dogs just in life, they have wrestled, and I like that. We brought another guy like that also. Already got the message. I messaged Malcolm immediately. He already said, it's about time we got another wrestler on the team. I saw a comment in the Woodward Sports chat. Him and Malcolm need to start a barbecue sauce. I'm down for all that.
Yeah. I can't wait to see him and Malcolm's first celly. Like when Malcolm's back and he's ready to go and they make a stop together or something, I know they're going to have something cooked up.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I was just about to say that Malcolm Rodriguez, also former state champion wrestler.
Yep.
Like that helps you so much with defensive work, like you said, especially in that front seven. The pad level, the body movement, stuff like that, that is, you get that from wrestling, man. Knowing where to get inside position on guys, getting your hands on the interior, a lot of rip downs and stuff like he said, that all comes from wrestling. And you get a wrestler that gets their hands on you, you're not going to get out of that very often.
Yeah.
So to have a guy like that, like I say, he's going to be a good rotational piece on this defensive line. I'm excited. He started 16 games last year with Arizona for a reason. Him, DJ Reader, Levi, Ali McNeil eventually. I'm excited to see what the rotation of that defensive tackle room looks like this year.
I think that's a cool thing, too, or a benefit the Detroit Lions fans look at. I know we call him Bargain Bin Brad. We make fun of him because he's always signing the injured guys. Here's a guy that played 16 games for you.
Yeah.
He's coming here to Detroit to be a rotational piece. I'm damn sure you better stay healthy. Like, I like that accountability, too. And I like the tape as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you just said it.
Housekeeping.
You're excited to see him with this defensive line. So am I. I mean, name anybody on the Cardinals D-line. I was looking at their past 3 seasons. It was basically J.J. Watt in 2022 was the only guy putting up numbers.
Yeah.
Like, him with more talent around him where he's not a big body where they can throw 2 guys at him. You know, that's where I see this guy thriving. I think it's big to have more talent around him on the defensive line now. And in a rotational role, I really like it. You're not counting on him, you know, to be a full-time starter.
Yeah, and quick sidebar, former defensive tackle of the Arizona Cardinals, Naquan Jones, signed a 1-year deal. Or I don't know if it's a 1-year deal, but got signed by the
your boy?
by the Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah, Spartan Dog.
He is now a Los Angeles Laker.
Sat behind me in my coaching basketball class, so shout out to him. Good for him. Get that bag, Spartan Dog. Love seeing Spartans get paid.
Ooh, John F. and Lord nickname already, the Detroit Banditos. Let's relax to the Mexican gang culture stuff, you know, just, you know.
Yeah.
Because this guy could actually murder us. Him and Malcolm.
Could for sure.
It would
Actually,
destroy us.
could murder us with their bare hands.
This guy probably could rip the top of my skull.
Yeah. Hey, I'm excited. I'm just excited.
I'm
like
just
you
telling
said,
Mexican. I'm not
and
going to say it, no.
we talked about Coach Casey coming in there too. That is something you have to think about. What he likes in his defensive tackles, what he likes in his defensive line, getting those rotations in there, getting guys moving them around and having them do different things. So expect to see these guys juiced coming off that defensive line. And that's just another reason like that this Lions team is going to, again, next year be one of the hardest teams in the NFL to run the ball against. And it starts with the defensive line.
Amen. AF and men. And another thing, too, is listening from his press conference, his dad played college ball, high school coach. His uncle played college ball, high school coach. His other uncle played college ball, high school coach. His sisters, his mom, the whole family is about ball.
Yes.
They're all football-minded football players. And it's just a consistent thing. You want to look, if we ever try to find a guy that is going to come in here, you're never really going to know their backgrounds. You never know, like, their families. We're not that deep into the free agency class like that. But, like, every time they do come in, stuff like that, you're hearing from them.
Yeah.
Constantly. I love it.
I love it too. And like you said, I don't expect him to be defensive player of the year or anything like that, but you look at the Eagles, and what made the Eagles great last year was their rotation of defensive linemen and bringing in guys that can go in there and make plays and play at a starter level, but have 3 of them on the defensive line, and now you're getting that, at least with the defensive tackle spot. Obviously, we need to see some edge work as well, but that is a very deep defensive tackle room, especially when Ali McNeil comes back. And
My God.
I'm excited to see that rotation go to work.
I'd love to see that rotation work. Thomas Rotundi, shout out to Southwest Detroit clothing stores, about to get paid.
Facts. If he doesn't get some kind of brand deal with a shop in Southwest,
him, Malcolm pulling up the cowboy hats.
Oh, for sure.
Big buckle.
Yeah.
I love it. J2 Element, easy. You could blend in here in LA. I'm down for it.
You could blend in Southwest too.
Yeah, I have. I've seen some crazy shit in Southwest, to be honest with you. It's a place.
Southwest is
Yeah.
not safe.
It's the Wild West.
It's the Wild West.
Before we
Best
get
tacos you'll have in the state, though.
Yes.
before we
So
get
good.
too off topic, we do have the Dan Campbell one if you want to.
Yeah, and also, one more before we go to break here. Here's what he had to say about his new head coach, Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
What were your impressions of Dan Campbell from afar?
From afar, he loves his players. He loves his city. He loves his organization. I'll tell you from up close, I didn't know he was that big, to be honest with you. I told them, I made a joke. I was like, I knew he played. I didn't know he could still play. Like, that's crazy.
And so there it is. Like, I feel like that's everybody's impression with Dan Campbell is like, yeah, he's Dan. And then you see him in real life, you're like, holy shit, this dude's actually a fucking monster. Like, Dan Campbell is, I'm telling you.
That's a monster, speaking about that.
About a monster being a monster.
Yeah.
I would
Hey, yo.
I would do a lot to have a night out drinking beers with Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
That is a goal.
Honestly,
that is a bucket list goal for me.
I want to hang out with Roy Lopez.
Yeah.
He seems like I want to hit a barbecue joint with him.
Like, if I had a genie, I'd be like, let me get a night out on the town with MCDC.
I tried with Malcolm, and I know we have like a whatever distant, we don't have to hang out or like that.
Yeah.
I tried getting that in with us with the UFC stuff. We don't really watch it like that.
That's fair.
Maybe Roy does.
That's fair. Roy does.
A Saturday is right before a Sunday night game though too. So
yeah, don't want to be.
Guess I can't really
local talk show hosts out on the town with linebacker, and then he's out for the next game.
They were caught with cocaine. Strippers.
Flags a drug test for excessive cocaine usage.
And a homemade tattoo kit.
Yeah. They all got matching tattoos and hung out at Legends all night.